Data transfer rules remain one of the most complex global privacy issues. Transfer impact assessment (TIAs), standard contractual clauses (SCCs), and residency requirements influence cloud and architectural decisions. Leadership must align legal, engineering, and product stakeholders around clear transfer strategies. Why data transfers are a board-level issue. Cross-border data transfers are now one of the highest risk areas in privacy compliance. Regulators increasingly view transfers as a sovereignty issue, control over citizens' data, national security issues, foreign government access, and trust issues, consumer and employee expectations. Enforcement actions, regulatory guidance, and court decisions over the past 5 years have fundamentally reshaped what lawful transfer means. Core principle. Core principle is just universal. Across justification or jurisdictions, the same principle applies. Personal data may only be transferred outside a jurisdiction if the destination provides essentially equivalent protection or if enforceable safeguards and accountability mechanisms are in place. We do business globally. We do not consider whether data can move, but under what conditions, controls, and documentation as it moves. This is essential for our business to understand. European framework, the GDPR-centric legal architecture. Under GDPR, international transfers are explicitly restricted unless one of the following applies. Adequacy decision. Transfers are allowed whether the destination country has been formally recognized by the European Commission as providing adequate protection. Key characteristics are country-level assessment of laws, surveillance powers, and remedies, periodic reassessment, and revocable at any time. The executive risk is adequacy can disappear. Think of the Schrems II precedent. Appropriate safeguards, most common in practice. Standard contractual clauses, mandatory for most EU to US and EU to global transfers. Updated clauses require transfer impact assessments, TIA, ongoing monitoring for foreign language legal regimes, suspension of transfers if protections fail. Binding corporate rules. Internal multinational transfer mechanisms, high cost, long approval cycles, regulator scrutiny, signals mature governance to regulators. Derogations, expectations to the requirements, last resort, GDPR Article 49, explicit consent, necessary for contractual performance, important public interest, not scalable, not strategic, regulators strongly discourage routine reliance. Schrems II reality, what executives must understand. Following the Schrems II ruling, contracts alone are insufficient. Organizations must assess foreign government access risks. Encryption, key control, and access limitations are no longer best practices. They are expected. Regulatory expectation. Show us how you prevented unlawful access, not just that you promised to prevent it. United States, it's fragmented coverage and it has no federal landscape. Well, it has limited federal landscape, right? We have the FTC and other practices, but no comprehensive federal transfer restrictions. Transfers governed indirectly via the FTC enforcement, sectorial laws like HIPAA, GLBA, and national security considerations. State privacy laws like CPRA and the 20 other states the states increasingly regulate international transfer indirectly through purpose limitation, data minimization, contractual requirements with processors, risk assessments for high-risk processing. California's CPRA explicitly references reasonable security safeguards, limiting onward transfers. Contractual accountability. The trend in the United States, we are quietly importing GDPR-style accountability without using the word transfer. Data localization and sovereign laws, high-risk jurisdictions. Several countries now restrict or condition outbound transfers, including China, security assessments, government approvals, and local storage mandates. Russia, mandatory local storage of citizen data. India, sector-based localization and government access provision. Brazil, transfer conditions limited to GDPR, but with evolving enforcement. Our executive implementations, global architecture designed solely around GDPR compliance often fail silently in these jurisdictions. So build your compliance or design your architectures around each local jurisdiction to make sure you're in compliance. Technical safeguards regulators expect. Today, regulators increasingly assess technical reality, not paper compliance. Key expectations, encryption at rest and in transit. EU-controlled or customer-controlled encryption keys. Strict access controls and logging and auditing. Data segmentation and localization by region. Vendors' ability to challenge government access requests. And incident response plans given specific to foreign legal demands. Vendor and cloud risk. Cross-border transfers are often hidden inside vendors, including cloud hosting, SaaS platforms, HR systems, CRMs, and analytical tools are examples. The regulatory stance, you are responsible even if the transfer happens downstream. Executives should ensure transfer mapping is current. SCC flow down to subprocessors. Vendors disclose government access exposures, and TIAs are refreshed after legal or geopolitical changes. Enforcement and liability. Regulators now impose suspension orders, not just fines. Forced repatriation of data. Public reprimands. Contractual invalidation. Fines aside, the business interruption risk is often a real threat. Strategic executive takeaways. Transfer are no longer a legal checkbox. They are a combination of legal, technical, and geopolitical risk. Documentation is defensible. TIAs, architectural diagrams, and decision records matter. Encryption strategy equals compliance strategy. Key control is power. Cloud decisions are privacy decisions. Architectural choices made by IT now carry regulatory consequences. Expect scrutiny, not forgiveness. Regulators assume sophistication at the executive level.